Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Ryan here alongside Drew, Michigan Storm Chasers, coming at you with a early morning briefing today. Figured it'd be good to pop on here at the start of the day and give you guys a update on today's severe weather threat across South Michigan. Let's go ahead and dive into this. Before we get going though, let's go do an audio check real quick. Go ahead and say something, Drew.
Yes. What's up, guys?
Okay. Let us know in the comments if you guys can hear us okay. And once we get the okay or thumbs up, we'll get going. In the meantime, let us know. And also drop where you're watching from. Let us know where you're watching from across Michigan. Pop your city in here. Let's see if we can represent. Yep, all good. All good. Okay, cool. 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 Good morning, Gypsy. We got Bender here, Lori, Michael, Fire, Kathy. All right, perfect. Audio's good, it seems like. DeWitt, says Vicky. Macomb, Charlotte, Mount Pleasant, Burton, Bay City, Charlotte again, New Boston, Detroit, Grand Rapids, Heartland, Jackson, Pinckney, Fowlerville, all over the place. All right, let's go ahead and dive into this, guys. Current radar out there, we got some scattered, I'm not going to say scattered, some isolated showers in certain areas, kind of moving across South Michigan here. Could get some sprinkles down here in the, St. Joseph, Cass, Kalamazoo, and Van Buren County area. Also up here in the Grand Rapids area, some sprinkles, perhaps a little bit of a heavier rain shower entering Muskegon currently. And then up here further north, we have a couple heavier showers, perhaps a rumble of thunder up here by the Cadillac, Reed City, Clare area. But overall, these storms are not currently strong or severe in nature. That may change as we push into the afternoon hours. Let's go ahead and pop this over here to the forecast models and also the SPC Outlook. Starting with the SPC Outlook, the latest forecast here, per the SPC, we have a level 1 out of 5 risk across, we're going to say South 96 today. South of Grand Rapids, along Lansing, over toward Detroit, that dark green color is your marginal risk for severe weather. Further north, we have a general thunderstorm risk in 2 areas today. We have one, pretty much the entirety of the lower peninsula north of that severe threat, minus like Sheboygan and Mackinac areas. Also another risk over here in the western part of the UP. But if you're in the eastern part of the UP, no storms are expected today. So kind of like a between split zone here for that eastern UP. The hazard today, one and only, it is damaging wind. It is a 5 to 14% chance within that dark green colored area of seeing a damaging wind gust within 25 miles of your location. So if you live in the dark green area, for example, Coldwater, it is a 5 to 14% probability of seeing a damaging wind gust within 25 miles of you. All right. Models for today. As much as we hate them, they do give us a good idea of what's going to happen, and that's going to be a lot of rain and a lot of showers and storm activity. So much so that confidence in us destabilizing enough for severe weather is on the lower end of things. So here's the latest forecast model based off the HRRR. We're going to see a couple showers out there. It's actually got a pretty good handle on things, how things look currently as of 8 a.m. here. We got a couple areas and pockets of storms up by the Cadillac. We got a couple showers down here across Grand Rapids and South Michigan. It shows a decent picture of what's going on, actually. So let's go ahead and put some trust in the model for the day. Here's 9 a.m., here's 10 a.m., here's 11 a.m. We're pretty much dry through the morning hours for 90% of us here in the state. As we push toward that noon and after time frame, attention turns off to the south and west here across the Chicago Metro. We got some pockets of heavier rain and some storms that do form. Here's 1 o'clock, and by 1 o'clock there, we have a couple heavier storms pushing in toward Berrien County. Here's 2 p.m., here's 3 p.m. Any one of these storms during the afternoon hours may contain those gusty winds. It's a low-end threat today, but it's a threat to keep an eye on. Here's 4 p.m. now, here's 5 p.m., 6 p.m., whoopsies. The model stops there. It's actually loading in. Let's go ahead and back this up here. 5 p.m. here, 6 p.m. This is the last run of the model. Here's 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Heavier storms down there in Indiana for sure, but it could brush the southern Michigan border here. 10 p.m., 11 p.m., and then midnight tonight. Overall, today has a potential because there's so much moisture out there and there's multiple storms going over the exact same areas across South Michigan. If you live along the 94 corridor, I would be on alert for some potential flooding today as well, in addition to that low-end severe risk. Per the WPC, the Weather Prediction Center, we do have a slight risk for excessive rainfall out there for the Michigan-Indiana border areas. But aside from that, there's a marginal risk for excessive rainfall up to about, we're going to say M46 there through Sandusky, all the way back through about, what did I say, Big Rapids? About Big Rapids or so. So overall, expect chances of storms throughout the day today across most of Michigan. A strong to severe storm is possible down by the Indiana border, especially south of Lansing, and also south of Lansing, or roughly around that same general area. We could have the risk for some flooding. Overall, tornado and hail risk today is quite low in nature. Would not expect any of that to be occurring. It should just be a damaging wind risk via microburst and downburst with heavier thunderstorms because there's a lot of moisture out there. All right. Outside of today, we do have a risk tomorrow as well for the western UP. It's going to be one to watch as well. We have a couple models saying we could have some storms up there. Taking a peek at the latest model here for tomorrow. Here's your afternoon. Afternoon's dry. Get to the evening hours. There's a big nasty line kind of pushing in on the model here about 5-6 p.m. up there in the western UP. One to watch tomorrow if you live up in the UP for sure. We're going to get into that a little bit later on tonight, perhaps tomorrow morning for another briefing on this. But keep in mind, tomorrow could have another severe risk for the UP as well. Past Sunday, we look to Monday and Tuesday and perhaps Wednesday as well. Here is Monday's CSU learning model. This is a probability-based AI guidance model. It is not a forecast. It's just a better idea of what could happen based on a blend of certain models. So Monday has probabilities across all of Michigan with higher probabilities for severe weather in northern Michigan. So keep that in mind. We go to Tuesday, and that risk kind of shifts southward. Models saying that southern Michigan has a risk for some severe weather there on Tuesday. And by about that Wednesday time frame, that risk area should shift off to our south into the Ohio Valley and leave us with more pleasant lake conditions for the late half of the upcoming week. So overall, we could have back-to-back days here of severe weather in Michigan. I don't think anything's going to be high end out of all these days. So probably going to be low end, perhaps like a slight risk here or there. But overall, keep in mind, active period here continues across Michigan, just depending on where you're at and depending on the day. It'll kind of vary day by day. Going back one more time here, I want to show you guys a different model for today. I think this model had a better idea of how things are going to kind of play out today. Just because over the past couple of days, the HRRR model has been underplaying the amount of storms we've had. So overall, I think we could have a good chance of seeing more storms than what's shown here in the model. I think the NAM model is a good idea of what could happen today. So here's some showers this morning. Here's the afternoon hours, though. Keep in mind, we're going to have numerous storms that could pop up there across the 94 corridors. This is 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m. This is what it could look like, what I think it will look like this afternoon across that south area. And with that mess of rain comes that flooding risk and potential for an isolated storm that becomes strong or severe as well. So 6 p.m., 7 p.m., and then 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m. All right, that's your briefing today. Feel free to chime in with questions. Did I miss anything, Drew?
Oh, I think you covered the basis of things. As Ryan mentioned, we are watching that flooding risk for today. For those that may or may not be aware of this, but Chicago, Illinois yesterday had some pretty significant flooding, or some pretty bad flooding. They got about 4 to 6 inches of rainfall within a few hours, which caused a lot of flooding there. Not saying we're expecting that to happen exactly, but that's something to be mindful about, where we could have a few localized areas that could see localized flooding. So once again, we are in that marginal and slight excessive rainfall outlook. So that's just something to be mindful about today. And as Ryan mentioned, we could have a few storms, especially just with how humid and any instability that is present. We could have a few strong to severe storms, and that would be along the warm front of, once again, another MCV. It seems like these past few setups have been a lot of MCV related storms.
Yeah, and with these messy setups too, Drew, it's very hard for us to build in a lot of instability to support a widespread or scattered severe risk. So it's possible we can kind of destabilize in pockets across the state, but I don't think it's gonna be a widespread risk today. So it should keep things pretty much minimal to a thunderstorm, perhaps an isolated strong or severe storm today. I do want to mention as well off to our west, there's a couple areas to watch. This is a complex of rain that's pushing across Iowa as we speak. Out ahead of it, we have some pop-up storms already going on across Illinois, and as this energy kind of pushes in further east, this will move into Michigan here, and that will give us those pop-up type storms like what's going on in Illinois currently. So afternoon hours here could start as early as about 11 a.m. I would expect it to start a little bit after that, though, toward peak heating 1, 2, 3, 4 p.m. ish. That's when I would expect to start, getting some pop-ups that could be strong in nature. We could see ongoing showers and storms as early as 11 a.m. here this morning. So low end risk today for severe weather. And you can say low end risk as well for some flooding potential. Any storm that trains over the exact same area will have risk for excessive rainfall. A lot of moisture out there. With that, a lot of moisture comes a lot of heavy rainfall rates. Will this be like Thursday? Chris, I'm going to say probably not. Thursday was more scattered in nature across the state. I don't expect that to be the case today.
Good news is, depending on obviously how the things track, but it looks like eventually we'll get a cool down. Long range models do hint at a cool down eventually, mainly mid next week. So around that Tuesday, Wednesday timeframe, we'll be having a cold front that'll be finally moving through, and we'll finally get rid of all this heat and humidity, which we haven't really had a lot of opportunities, Ryan, it seems like this summer in terms of getting below average temperatures, but
Nope.
I'm sure y'all are really excited for it.
Yeah, I know the models a couple days ago were showing about a 5-day, maybe a 7-day stretch of like 70-degree temperatures. It's kind of backed off on that a little bit, but still a cool down there. But also want to mention with that cold front coming through around that Tuesday, Wednesday time frame comes a chance for more severe weather as well because of that moisture atmosphere we have, so to speak. We have a cold front that comes through that can and probably will provide us enough lift and perhaps instability if we can destabilize to support a severe risk probably around that Tuesday time frame. So one day to watch coming up as well. Also to mention the drought that's ongoing across West Michigan and the Tri-City areas. Hopefully today will kind of alleviate some of those conditions. I think it will in some areas. I think it's a pretty surefire thing. We're going to get rain today across West Michigan, at least parts of it. So I think some areas here will definitely see some relief from that.
Another thing I'll mention too, with multiple severe risk days potentially coming up in the next few days here, each day is going to rely on how the next day plays out. We're in a northwest flow pattern. So basically what that means is we can basically get MCSs or squall lines, basically. And depending on where each squall moves through across the upper Midwest and Great Lakes will kind of play out on where or when we will get severe weather. So we're going to have to take it one day at a time. So we'll be focusing mainly on today, obviously, with that marginal risk, and then we'll kind of just take it day by day to get a better picture on how things could play out.
Very good point there, Drew.
Have to take it.
Any questions here, guys? Feel free to chime in. What time will it hit Detroit? Bob, off and on chances for rain and some storms today throughout the entire afternoon hours. Even into the evening hours too. I'm seeing the models here kind of pop up storms close to like 8 o'clock in the evening as well. So ongoing chances. It's not going to rain all day, but you will have chances for numerous pop ups to interact here across pretty much all of South Michigan. It's kind of hard to pinpoint where and when. So I can only give you the rough estimate time frames here.
Yeah, if anyone has outdoor plans at all today, mainly in southern Michigan, probably wouldn't be the best day to be doing outdoor activities. We're just very humid this morning, so we can't really give an exact location of like, all right, Kalamazoo, Michigan, at this specific time you will see rain. We're gonna have a lot of just pop-up storms, a little bit what we had yesterday, but it's gonna be more widespread in mainly once again southern Michigan, just because that's where our better lift and shear, as well as dews are present. So that's why we'll just have more overall shower and storm coverage down in that area. So just something to be mindful about.
Yeah, today's not a day we're not looking at a big line coming through. We can kind of time it out for you. It's going to be popped up everywhere across South Michigan. So it's very, very hard to get specific with that. So I see a couple questions in here for tomorrow in the UP. And tomorrow in the UP, yes, there is a risk for the western half of the UP, especially. I'm not going to be shocked, though, if they extend that over to the east, just because latest models do show a threat over there as well. But looking at models for tomorrow, we do see a couple areas to keep an eye on, being in the western and central part of the UP. Here's that 5 o'clock Eastern time frame as that line pushes in. Here's 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., and then 10 p.m. So I would not be shocked. A couple things tomorrow. Number one, if this continues to be the trend, I think there's enough wind shear up there, enough instability overlap. We could see a slight risk introduced up there, but also an extension of that marginal risk further to the east as well, closer to over here toward like Sault Ste. Marie areas. I would not be shocked to see like extension over here, like a slight risk added over here. That's just my guess, so we'll see how it plays out. But it kind of is a domino effect too, because how today plays out across the U.S. will affect how tomorrow plays out. So it's really not going to be known until we get to like late tonight or early tomorrow morning what we could be looking at for tomorrow. So.
And typically speaking, SBC is going to always start conservative. So if you guys have been noticing, a lot of our days upcoming here are marginal risk days, just because there's a lot of uncertainty. And we always try to do the same thing here at MSC is, when we have a lot of things going on in terms of how a severe event can be, you always want to start with more conservative wording, because once again, if we just say, look out, this area, models are going to be changing a lot, and that's not really going to do you guys any good. So watch as things kind of come in. And then if we need to amp up our wording, then we will, if we have to, depending on how things play out.
Yeah, the good thing with MSC here is we're not like a news station. We're not tied to like 4 p.m. news, 5 p.m. news, 8 p.m. news. We can update whenever we want to. So if things change, and as they do change rapidly, we can break in and we can give you guys updates if things dramatically change. That's the beauty of this. So stay tuned to the page. Today, I wouldn't expect it to uptrend based on the current conditions out there, the environment at hand, the models. I don't expect today to uptrend. But in the future, like for example tomorrow, it definitely could see an upgrade to that risk area for the UP. So I see a couple questions in here for specific locations and timing and how bad it's going to be. So again, we can't really pinpoint when and where we're going to see storms, but I can tell you the models for today have a mess of storms, like a pocket, we're going to call it, of storms across most, if not all, of South Michigan here throughout the afternoon time frame. So will there be pockets of air in areas that don't get rain and storms? Yes, there will be. That's how it goes with weather. It's a probability-based forecast. So if we want to think of it the opposite way, for severe weather at least, the probability is 5 to 14% today for damaging wind in that dark green area. Opposite of thinking of that, you have 86 to 95% chance of not seeing a severe storm today. So the odds probability here are definitely on the low end today. But in terms of rainfall, I do think a lot of us will see rain across South Michigan. It's just kind of hard to pinpoint when and where, because models can get you close sometimes, but never exact. Wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour today, guys. It shouldn't be any higher than that, just based on the environment at hand. Dawn, I think you're going to be good today. A couple storms are possible up there, but bad storms for you up there in Skidway Lake. Not really expecting that today or tomorrow. I'd be keeping an eye on the next week, though. Perhaps Monday, Tuesday time frame. Keep an eye on that those 2 days. All right. I don't see much of any other questions here. So pop them in chat. I'll give you guys a couple more minutes here to ask questions as you come in. In the meantime, though, I want to give a couple shout outs to our sponsors, as we usually do here at MSC. We have our trusted partner of the day. It is McKay Tree Specialists. Any storm damage or tree care needs across southeast Michigan, we've partnered with McKay Tree Specialists to provide services to you guys. They cover most of southeast Michigan, south of 69 and east of 127, so it's a big chunk there. You can get a hold of them, 248-308-7308. I want to thank McKay Tree Specialists for being a trusted partner here at MSC. I also have other sponsors who cover different services in areas of Michigan. We have StormGuard Roofing and Construction. They're based in southeast Michigan as well. We have Lifestyle Exteriors based in Lansing. We have Katz Roofing, also based in Lansing. We have Mike Hayes Roofing and Siding based in the Thumb. Kuiper Tree Care based in West Michigan. FBI Buildings across all of Lower Michigan. On Top Roofing based in Livingston County. Schneider Commercial Building Solutions across most of Michigan. Shield Public Adjusters again across most of Michigan. Top Gun Roofing and Exteriors based in West Michigan. A-Class Construction Restoration in Mason County. Rainbow Restoration in Kent County surrounding areas. Rapid Radios, our communication sponsor here for our chasers back to us here at home base. Our Skycam sponsor and also audio video security needs, Guardian Technologies based in Burton. And lastly, Ronald McDonald House of Detroit. We'd like to thank all these sponsors for partnering with us here at MSC, providing services to you guys in the great state of Michigan. If you need their services, feel free to reach out to them direct or reach out to us. We can put you in contact with the proper person to take care of you and your needs. All right, we have a super chat in here from Kendall. Thank you, Kendall, for that support. It says, I'm in Romeo at Simpson Park. I'm expecting severe weather today. Low chance for that, Kendall. Low chance. The risk, I think, is definitely much higher down toward the Ohio-Indiana borders today. So while you could get a few rain showers and storms out there today, I would not expect them to be severe in nature. I have a poker run on Sherman Lake next to Gull Lake by Kazoo. It's 2 to 6. Not sure if I should cancel it. It is a hard day, Danielle. It really is a hard day to judge that, just because that 2 to 6 time frame, that's when models are kind of popping up storms. But because they're pop-ups, we can't really pinpoint exactly where and when they're going to pop up. So yes, you have potential. Definitely there's potential, and probably likely you're going to see rain somewhere around you, if not over you, in that 2 to 6 time frame. But it's really hard to say with certainty that, hey, you're going to get rain between that time frame. You know what I mean? So yeah, expect rain today around that time frame, but also a chance for a strong storm as well. Definitely there. So keep an eye on the radar if you have one. If you don't have a radar app, we always recommend downloading. It's a $10 runtime fee. It's a radar scope. It is a brilliant app to use. It's a little advanced, but it's also basic in nature. But it's the best radar app out there. It's better than any, AccuWeather, Weather Underground, any of those radars from a free app. It's definitely a whole lot better. It gives you a lot more data to work with here. It's really advanced. So would highly recommend downloading a radar app like that, or just keep an eye on the regular radar. It's fine too. Just be safe out there if you're going out today. Howell, Brighton, Flint area. So you guys are in... Well, Brighton, Howell, right in the line of severe weather today. Flint, you're okay. We could have general thunderstorms across all of Michigan, minus the eastern part of the UP up there in the white color. The severe threat is really south of Lansing today, south of 96. In that dark green color, so Detroit, Adrian, Monroe, Ann Arbor, Coldwater, Sturgis, Kalamazoo, Battle Creek, even Lansing as well. You're close to that line. You're within that 25-mile point there. So Lansing included. That's where the severe weather threat is today. It's a low end risk, so it's not a guarantee it's going to happen. But what is guaranteed, I think, today is rainfall, scattered rainfall across South Michigan. So. Yeah, weather-wise is another good one. I personally don't use it, but I've heard great things about it. All right.
Yeah, I think there's been.
Go ahead.
I was gonna. I think there's been like two apps. I think it's like weather-wise and like weather front or something that have been rising in popularity. Some people, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Just something I've been noticing.
I'm kind of old school. Once I latch onto something, I just use it. So I like Radar Omega, I like Radar Scope, and I like GR2. So I haven't used any of these new up-and-coming things just because I don't need to. The one I'm using covers all the basics for broadcasting and my personal needs. So, but yeah, just because that we don't use it, I mean, there's still good apps out there. So I'll do hour by hour again on two models for you guys, and I'll hop out of here. So HRRR model, this is the most commonly used model when it comes to like storms and severe weather forecasting. So here is current time, 8:30. Let's go ahead and bump this to 8 a.m. It has a decent handle on how things look out there. Here's 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., about noon or so. That's when I start seeing more storms popping up, especially across South Michigan. Here's 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10, 11, and then here is midnight tonight. This gets really heavy close to midnight. That's interesting. It holds up until like the nighttime hours to give us a heavy rain across that South Michigan area. But no, this is going to be midnight. Here's 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Whoops, that's where it ends. So we're going to stop it right there. There's 1 a.m. Right about that, probably 2 or 3 a.m. time frame, things should be tapering off across the entire state. But the other model we used, the NAM, shows similar picture to this. Back this up here. Start this right around that noon time frame. Here's 1 p.m. today, 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8, 9, and then 10, 11, midnight, 1, 2, and 3 a.m. So perhaps some lingering showers and storms overnight tonight. But yeah, that's going to be the two forecast models we use. Yes. Scattered rain showers are going to be... I'm getting a bad echo on my end. Scattered rain showers and storms are going to be the case today. A couple of those could be strong in nature or severe across South Michigan. All right. Anything else you want to say, Drew?
No, not really. Just once again, watch out for localized flooding in a few isolated areas today in southern Michigan. And once again, if there is a severe threat that does develop, wind would be the main thing to be on the lookout for today.
Yep. All right. With that said, we're going to roll the outro, and we'll see you guys perhaps later today for some coverage of severe weather. Hope not, but in the event we have a warning, we'll be live, of course, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. So, with that said, we'll catch you guys hopefully later and not today. Stay safe, guys.
See ya.